don't think CGRS is going to rotate off. So even though they know it's heading towards B, there's still only 2 players able to defend. Second holds the line. Wide face, he fell asleep at the wheel.
If you ever find yourself terrible at holding angles, even if you know an enemy is there, you aren't alone. Everyone just thinks your reaction time is slow, but the truth is that you shouldn't be using your raw reactions anyway. What the pros don't tell you is that they use their game sense to anticipate when an enemy will swing. And oftentimes they'll just pre-fire the angle before enemies even appear for a kill. It's a scientifically proven fact that being more prepared for an event significantly improves your response times. So in this video, I'll explain how to anticipate and punish enemy swing timings using pro and high elo examples. I'll be posting more videos like this on my second channel dedicated to coaching content, so go subscribe to that. Alright, so how can we recognize when enemies want to swing us, and what do those timings look like? To get into the mind of your opponents, we want to not only recognize when situations are good for us, but also when situations are good for our opponents. There are several clear indicators that enemies are going to swing and when you should prepare yourselves or just pre-fire. The most obvious example is when enemies try to trade you, and can be seen in this clip of Koi Starkso against Na'Vi in their VCT EMEA match. Starkso kills the first 2 players pushing A link, but knows a third is going to try and swing to trade him. So while he's in a vulnerable crouched position, he continues to spray exactly where his enemies are going to swing out of and prevents the trade back from happening. Here's another example from Flya in his 1v3 clutch against TSM. After killing the first, he expects the second to swing but doesn't hit the first couple shots. However, he continues to spray down the angle since he knows TSM is now eager to punish his positioning and ends up winning the 1v3. We can see that when enemies are eager to trade you and you're in a compromised position, you can just pre-fire the angle to defend yourself rather than trying to react to the reswing. Here's another example from Superman in his 1v4 on Ascent against old NRG. He knows Sage is close sight after this jiggle, so immediately after killing Omen in Defender spawn, he pre-fire sprays down the same angle that Sage is trying to trade from, and gets the kill before Sage even has a chance to shoot back. There are a lot of other tells for when an enemy is going to swing, but before we get to that, I want to thank the sponsor of this video, Raid Shadow Legends. Raid is an awesome collection RPG you can play on your PC or your mobile device. It features over 700 unique champions, a fun tactical battle system, amazing graphics, and a great mix of PvE and PvP content. There are 15 awesome factions that you can choose from, so everyone can find their favorite champion. With super engaging PvP combat modes including Tag Team and Live Arena, you'll be able to rise the ranks against players from around the world. PvP Arena is my favorite part of the game, and it's super addicting to test your team against other players anytime you want. If you're a PvE player, there are also 12 awesome dungeons to conquer and grind out loot against challenging bosses. With over 400 million players, Raid is one of the most popular games in the world, so you don't need to be worried about playing alone. If you're looking for a new challenge, you're in luck. Raid Shadow Legends have just added a fearsome new boss, Akumori the Phantom Shogun. This undead general is guarding everything you need for Accessory Ascension, which is a new feature that allows you to upgrade your gear to even greater heights. And if you've somehow managed to miss out on the incredible animated series, Raid Call the Arbiter, then you can check out all 10 episodes on the official Raid Shadow Legends YouTube channel now. With all of this exciting stuff and more stuff coming to Raid, if you haven't started playing now, then what are you waiting for? Use my link in the description or scan my QR code to get insane bonuses. We're talking an epic champion knight errant from the Bannerlords faction and other useful things such as energy refills, skill tomes, and XP boosts. So remember to check out the QR code or my link in the description, and I'll see you on the battlefield. Now let's get back to the video. Another obvious tell that an enemy is going to swing is when flashes are thrown. It's incredibly likely that enemies will swing right afterward. We can see from this clip that EDG Kong Kong kills Raze swinging and immediately sees a bird pop from triple. On a specific timing, he shoots where Sky will likely swing out of and gets that kill as well. Understanding swing timings after a flash will help you get a lot of full blind kills too. This timing awareness also translates into kills through smokes. In this clip, Marv knows that he kills the first one to cross B main. He then sprays the right side of the choke knowing that the second must cross through that angle. Now we've covered the more obvious enemy swing timings during trading or after flashes, let's talk about the more nuanced timings. In a previous video, I break down what timings that you should be swinging enemies. The main example was to swing when enemies are in the open, trying to scale up corridors or chokes. I'm going to play an example from that video about Tarek's swing timing in his pistol ace clip. Tarek in the following clip knows that the enemies are in transition, trying to enter A through cat and tree. He chooses the timing right before they've cleared any angles on site, but right after they've already started running through the door choke.
One more.
Oh my god.
Sky's like, Sky's in.
Oh, Tarek, give me. Go for the content. Go for the content. Oh my god. Get another one.
So, we are most vulnerable to enemy swings when we are in the open, scaling corridors, or entering chokes. When enemies know we're in those positions, they will want to take that timing to punish us. We can use that information to our advantage and punish enemies trying to use that timing. In this example, I'm scaling up the defender spawn corridor for the retake, and the enemy Raze obviously knows that after I kill her teammate. I hear her ult and know I'm in imminent danger, so to defend myself, I pre-fire the angle before she appears on it to kill her. Oppers on attack abuse this thought process to cover their teammates while they scale site. In this example, Koala Noob knows an enemy is going to try to swing out of flower while his team is scaling. He holds it and gets a kill protecting his team. This next set of examples will help me explain the concept of re-peek timings. Once an enemy sees your location and goes back toward cover, you can expect them to re-peek that angle. This is especially true if you're in a punishable position out in the open or scaling up corridors like we mentioned before. The most common re-peek timing that you should be aware of is the immediate re-peek. In this clip, we can see G2 Oxy walking out in the open while getting to a stronger aggressive position. He's caught by Sova jiggle peeking. Verno is obviously eager to punish this positioning and immediately re-peeks to kill Oxy. Oxy could have pre-fired on this timing to protect himself from the re-peek. In this game against C9, Loud are coming up A on Pearl and are spotted by Rooney. Loud actually tried to pre-fire him on the normal re-peek timing, but Rooney dodges the first pre-fire by waiting and re-peeking on an off timing. But his final re-peek is on the normal timing, and Sadhak pre-fired again as we watch Rooney run into his death. Obviously we don't want to mindlessly spray an angle. Here's an example of that going wrong, where M80 Nismo is punished for pre-firing an angle too long. His enemy jiggle peeks the A main angle, and Nismo continues spraying the angle to protect against the re-peek. Penny re-peeks on an off timing and kills Nismo. So make sure you're not overcommitting in every single situation as well. Regardless, this is still a useful tool, and we can use it to protect ourselves and punish re-peeks. The last thing I want to point out is an underrated benefit of pre-firing. If you just pre-fire a couple shots where enemies could be in chaotic situations, it can help you a lot even if those shots never hit. You can see many pro players do this, and it helps for multiple reasons. Part of the reason for this is described in my previous video, where pre-firing an angle helps you gather information and defend your position. Take a look at how Nitro methodically pre-fires to defend his angle, gather information, and then helps him prepare for his reswing. Let's also take a look at Psalm's Icebox ace at VCT Lock-In. You can see Psalm just pre-fire one shot after killing Jet to defend his angle and gather information on how close the next player is. When he sees that they aren't close, he knows he has a lot of time to molly. He does this again after killing the next 3 to check how close the next enemy is and determine his next move. A couple non-committal shots can also discourage enemies ever so slightly from immediately swinging out of those angles. Sometimes that extra millisecond of doubt is all you need to clutch out a round. A final underrated benefit of pre-firing where enemies might be is just to get you into the rhythm of fighting and shooting your gun. There are just so many benefits when you understand how enemies want to play and how they want to move. So let's summarize all the indicators which tell us that our enemies want to swing us and when we need to really be prepared. Be aware of enemies trying to swing you when they are trying to trade. They just flashed an angle. You're seen in the open or scaling up chokes and corridors. In some of these situations, you can pre-fire expecting the swing, but make sure not to overcommit to it or you can be punished. Remember to check out Raid Shadow Legends using the link in the description or this QR code to get insane bonuses and an epic champion. Remember that I offer free team coaching live on my Discord, and also consider supporting me on Patreon, which helps me out a lot. Thanks again for watching.